Let's head to Winnipeg to bring in Danielle Bain. Danielle, you and I spoke exactly 2 weeks ago today. That's when we got word that Connor Hellebuyck was going to miss 4 to 6 weeks because of minor knee surgery. Just one win in 7 games since then. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is most severe, what's the level of concern in Winnipeg right now?
That's a tough one, Gino, because when you talk to some fans like I have over the last couple weeks, the level of concern on their end has to be like a 9 or a 10. But let's remember, they were used to a Jets team last season that started 15-1. So a little bit of a polar opposite situation to start the season. When it comes to the players themselves, though, their level of concern isn't totally up there when it comes to the goaltending. It's more about the concern that they're seeing within themselves and their own consistency. Captain Adam Lowry said that historically this organization has had really stellar goaltending, not even just Connor Hellebuyck, but throughout over the last number of years. So it's allowed players like him and the rest of the team to really just leave the goalies alone, as he would say, and just trust that they're doing whatever it takes to get their game to the next level. He says that they truly just need to work on playing better in front of their goaltenders. And then you have someone like Dylan Sandberg, who said that they are really going to be leaning a lot on the experience in this room. He says that so many of the guys in this room have gone through everything you can possibly go through in the National Hockey League, and that those players are really speaking up. So they're definitely going to lean on that experience, but at the end of the day, they really want to play better in front of their goaltenders right now, Gino.
Listen, in a best-case scenario, Danielle, Connor Hellebuyck could be back as soon as December 19th, but even then, he would need a little time to get his game legs back. What, if anything, are you hearing about his rehab and how that's going?
Okay, so I just asked head coach Scott Arniel that exact question today, for an update and his progress. He says things are going to plan. He hasn't gotten back on the ice just yet, but he has been working through some things off ice. He's starting to get into some movement. He's working on some up and down type of stuff, and that he will be getting on that ice really soon. And he even joked a couple days ago saying that the second that Hellebuyck gets back on the ice, he's throwing 4 yellow non-contact jerseys on that guy because he wants to get back out there as soon as possible. And knowing Connor Hellebuyck, he's the type of guy that wants to play 82 of 82 in the regular season. So I will be paying a lot of attention to seeing when he's back on the ice, because knowing him, he wants to get back sooner rather than later.
Okay, missing Hellebuyck is obvious because you're giving up a lot of goals. But here's one that confuses me. Since Hellebuyck went down, the Jets' offense was 6th best in the league while he was okay. Since he's gone down, their offense has plummeted to 27th in the league in goals against and goals per game, rather. What's happened to the huge drop-off with their offense simply because they've lost Hellebuyck for 4 weeks?
It is a bit of a confusing thing, Gino, but when you look at the types of opponents that they've had in the last number of weeks, they've been going up against some of the top teams in the league. And then you also have the situation where Scott Arniel has been tinkering a lot with lines 2 through 4. So he's been changing things up, and today he said quite honestly that he really needs to kind of zero in on what he wants to see in terms of line combinations, because he said when he was a player and even now as a coach, it's really tough to get that chemistry going when you're constantly being moved around from line to line. They have really had to rely on that top line of Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, and Gabe Vilardi, who have 50% of the team's goals so far this season. So, he's even talked about the possibility of splitting that top line up to kind of get some more offense going, but it really seems like that's kind of the last resort right now. He said they're talking about it. He says, believe me, I've been debating that for a long time now, but what his plan is going forward is to really try to find some consistency with those lines 2, 3, and 4 and give them time to really get things going.
It's looking like the Jets' decore's finally getting healthy again, Danielle. How much of an impact do you think that could have on the team's efforts to turn this slide around?
Yeah, Gino, so Dylan Sandberg was out, to start the season. He just came back, about a month ago. And then you had Neil Pionk, his D partner, go down, who just came back in the last game against Montreal. So they're finally kind of getting that top 4D look that they've been looking for throughout the season. And Scott Arniel really wants them to find cohesiveness with those forward lines. So a lot of the times, people talk about how, the forward lines need to get going and the D need to be structured and all that jazz. But at the end of the day, he really thinks that you need to have chemistry and cohesiveness between D pairings and forward lines. He used the Josh Morrissey and Dylan DeMello pairing with that top line of Scheifele, Connor, and Velarde as an example, saying that when the 5 of them are out there, it's pretty much magic. You know, they're jumping up in the rush. They know where each other is going to be, and it's really great to see. He wants to see more of that from Sandberg and Pionk as they kind of get back into things with each other, and then whoever he puts on that third pairing of the D, he wants them to really kind of join in and find ways to make an impact offensively.
Danielle, when we spoke 2 weeks ago, we had just received word of the reigning Vezina and Hart Trophy winner was going down. Here's hoping that we can speak 2 weeks from today with word that he's ready to return. Danielle Bain has joined us from Winnipeg.